Ben, I grew up in a very different era of baseball than you did. In the 90s baseball, I was very caught up in the McGuire, Sammy Sosa home run chase.
Don't get me wrong, so was I. The strike in 94, like it did with many people, chilled me enormously. And 98 got me back. You know,
I used to have a great poster, and I wish I still had it. I have no idea what happened to it, but it was Sammy Sosa's home runs and McGuire's home runs side by side, like you would see it on a baseball scorecard, with the total feet that they traveled and where they hit it to. That was in my room from 1998 on until I was old enough to start replacing it all with Mets posters. But that was the steroid era, and that now is looked back upon with an asterisk and a dark age of baseball where guys aren't going to make the Hall of Fame unless voters have a change of heart. But one of the players that would have been very interesting to see in that era of baseball is Giancarlo Stanton. Mike Stanton of the Miami Marlins would have been, I guess, of the Florida Marlins back then, and would have gone against the guy he's the most powerful hitter in baseball right now. I really don't think there's anything to people to debate that point. But one of the interesting things is Giancarlo Stanton is, on track for obviously 30-plus home runs again this season. Tons of RBIs. He's hitting his batting average on balls in play. I basically can't be caught because they're burning holes through the leather of infielders and outfielders' gloves. But here's an interesting stat from 90s baseball compared to today. 1996 to 2001, there was 83 40-plus home run seasons. From 2002 to 2000.
So from 83 to what?
From 96 to 2001, there was 83 total times that there were 40-plus home run seasons.
8 guys a year.
8 guys a year. From 2002 to 2012, there's only been 69 40 home run seasons. That's a 10-year compared to 5-year comparison. That was from Bleacher Report, which was updated as of the end of 2012. But there hasn't been much 40 home run seasons since then. I'm trying to think. Nelly Cruz did it last year, I believe. So you add one more. 70, maybe Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, maybe I think got 40 home run seasons along the way since then as well. But it begs the question, how do you think Giancarlo Stanton would fare in the steroid era?
I don't know. I mean, this is, he's not hit 40 home runs yet. There are guys hitting more. So, I mean, the real question, it might be better to ask, how would Bautista have fared? Bautista, by the way, a guy who, when he had his breakout, well, Pujols did play in that era. And there are...
If he came in the league in 1990, I would say.
There's look, there are people who think things about Pujols. There are reasonable people who think things about Pujols. I don't have any idea, but he was really good, really quick. Pujols was, really at a young age. So I don't know. I mean, right now, if this were the steroid era, does this dovetail with the era where every good team has 3 guys, 3 right-handers out of the bullpen, maybe 1 righty, maybe a lefty, and 2 righties who throw 97 with movement and throw 80 and throw 91-mile-an-hour sliders, hard sliders. So, and so I don't know, because right now we're a third of the way through the season. The Marlins have played 40 some odd games, and Mike Stanton, Giancarlo Stanton. You called him Mike. His name was Giancarlo.
His name's Mike Giancarlo Stanton.
No, his name's Giancarlo Mike Stanton.
It was originally Giancarlo, then he changed it to Mike, and then he changed it back to Giancarlo.
But it's his middle name, Michael.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just think it's what he went by.
There we go.
So he struck out 55 times this year. So he's on pace to strike out 200 times.
Adam Dunn territory.
If you strike out 200 times, you're not going to hit 50 home runs. No. You're just not.
You got 40.
You got to make contact. So I don't know. He would have done great, but I mean, but so would Encarnacion, so would Bautista. They all, I guess, would have done better because when they do make contact, the ball will go a little farther. But it doesn't strike me. Stanton's strength is so great that I don't know that. I mean, it doesn't seem like nothing's keeping him in the ballpark right now. I guess the argument is going to be some of those. Is he hitting balls to the warning track? Because I guess your way of thinking is in the steroid era, those balls go out.
Yeah. Well,
when he hits the ball on, I don't know. My hunch is he'd hit as many as he's hitting.
Thanks to ESPN.com's home run tracker, we have the 5 farthest hit home runs just this season. Take a shot. How many on that list are Giancarlo's?
6.
Well, there's only 5, Ben.
That's why it was
3
funny.
of them.
Jason,
but
that's why it's called.
I know it's called a joke, but it wasn't funny. So let's take a look at the graph.
It's not. Yeah.
Let's take a look at the graph that we have from ESPN. There we go. Surprisingly.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to guess now. 3.
Good call. Alex Rodriguez, 477. But here's what I love about Giancarlo Stanton. 467 on May 12th, 474 on May 15th, and he just tries to outdo himself. One of those was out of Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
And only Mike Piazza, Willie Stargell twice, and I think Babe Ruth.
Was that a joke?
Yes. Did you laugh?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Wow. There you go. Proud moment on TYT
Just
Sports.
remember, and we talk about steroids and this whole base of this conversation, how would Stanton have done in the steroid era? Willie Stargell hit the ball out of Dodger Stadium twice. Willie Stargell never took steroids.
And so, first of all, for all we know, Giancarlo Stanton could be taking steroids. Like, I mean, it's not.
Could be. The difference
he's
for
in
some of us
Miami. It's not out of the question.
I mean, the weird thing is these conversations, nobody knows what the F they're talking about, right? I mean, we know about the guys who we know about. We know about Barry Bonds. We know about Alex Rodriguez. We know that it's really inconceivable to a logical mind that they were the only ones. We know about McGuire based on his non-answer.
Sosa, McGuire, Roger Clemens.
I mean, yeah, but more recently talking about the guys like. But then we make these decisions about Piazza and Jeff Bagwell and Frank Thomas that we have really no basis on, right? We don't know about Piazza. We're guessing. We don't know about Bagwell. We're guessing.
Look,
and for some reason, hold on, let me finish. About Frank Thomas.
Big hurt.
Right. We just say, no, he didn't. Because why? I don't think he did either, but I don't know. No one should listen to me about this.
What's the reasoning behind
What's
that?
the reasoning before? And the reasoning for Frank Thomas is he came up looking like that. He came up big and powerful, and so did Stanton.
Right.
So,
David Ortiz has been a big guy ever since he came into the league.
Right. And and all of us who watch baseball have our thoughts about David Ortiz. A guy who was, released, non-tendered by the Minnesota Twins. It has to be one of the great all-time horrific personnel moves.
Right. It's definitely up there. So one of the last, at least in terms of power and home runs, the story I'd like to share was the Barry Bonds against the Anaheim Angels, back when they were the Anaheim Angels and had much better logos and much better jerseys. Troy Percival and Tim Salmon belong in this story. Barry Bonds comes up in the top of the ninth inning.
By the way, no team should be called from Anaheim. That was a joke always. They were the California Angels. That's what their name should have been. That's what their name should be now.
And California Angels have some great hats, too. You can actually get them.
They've never had a good hat. They've never had a good uniform. They've never had a fan worth talking to. Continue.
Really?
It's a loathsome team in a loathsome part of the country. Continue.
God, the California baseball hate as an A's fan, like anything.
Angels? There's no worse name. And then, again, it feels like a Disney.
But look, one of your favorite baseball movies is Angels in the Outfield.
Okay, no, it's a horrible baseball movie. Mitchell Page is in it. That's the only reason I like it at all.
Oh, well, okay, it's different.
Fundamentals in the middle of the season? That's his line. Yeah, so no, the original's pretty good.
Back to the goddamn point of the story. Barry Bonds hits a no-doubter into right field. And they cut to Tim Salmon, and you can see him mouthing the words, "That is the furthest I have ever seen a baseball hit." So that's what it brought. The steroid era brought a lot of excitement to baseball.
It did, and baseball embraced it. So baseball's shunning of that era now, without any inward look, without any official position of, we celebrated this and we knew these guys. Their heads got gigantic. Their bodies got gigantic. They were all sneaking off.
They had great workout plans, Ben.
Right. I mean, look, the baseball embraced it, loved it, celebrated it, and now acts as if these players committed some grievous sin behind their backs. It's not honest. I don't like it either. I like it better now, although I wish we had some way to offset the three guys. The three guys throwing 97 with the 91-mile-an-hour sliders. It's frustrating, literally, in a 3-1 game and a 2-1 game when you get to the seventh inning against the Royals. I got why you'd love it if you're the Royals, but you're like, Christ, we can't win. We can't score now.
We are totally out of this game.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
So you can't answer, I don't know to this question, or that's a stupid question. I'm curious. Would Stanton have hit 50 bombs in the steroid era, yes or no?
No, because he strikes out too much.
At least
right now he's striking out too much.
Is Adam Dunn a Hall of Famer?
No.
That's a joke. That's an actual joke. Subscribe to TYT Sports. You can do it by clicking on myself right here.
Who did Adam Dunn end his career with?
I don't know.
The Oakland A's.
The Oakland A's.
Everyone will forget that.
Yeah.
Who did Joe Namath end his career with?
The Oakland A's.
Los Angeles Rams.
Who gave up Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit?
Not the same kind of question, but I don't know.
It's baseball trivia.
Pedro Borbon.
The most legendary Mets pitcher.
Most legendary Mets pitcher?
Yes.
Seaver?
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Subscribe.